Hello children, once again welcome to my channel. In this video I will share with you methods of measurement of price elasticity of demand. There are three methods of measurement of price elasticity of demand: percentage method, total expenditure method, and geometric method. For introduction of price elasticity of demand and the degrees, please refer to part 1 of this chapter. So let us start with the percentage method. So for percentage method, the price elasticity of demand is given by percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price. So how do we measure percentage change in the quantity demanded? It is given by, first I will like to tell you, we introduce a negative sign here because we know price and quantity, they move in the inverse direction. So in order to make it positive, we multiply with negative sign so that it becomes positive. So percentage in the quantity demand, initially suppose the quantity is Q, new quantity is Q1. So Q1 minus Q divided by initial quantity multiplied with 100 gives us percentage change in the quantity demand. Similarly, if P1 is the new price, P is the initial price. So P1 minus P divided by the initial price multiplied with 100 gives us percentage change in the price. Now 100 gets cancelled out. So Q1 minus Q is del Q and P1 minus P is del P, right? And Q is written as it is in the denominator and P is written as it is. And P1 minus P becomes del P. Now del Q is written as it is and del P in the denominator is written as it is. Now this P goes in the numerator. So P divided by Q. Q will come in the denominator. So this is the formula of price elasticity of demand. I will show you some sums also in the later videos. Now we come to total expenditure method. So what is expenditure? The expenditure which is incurred by households on the purchase of a commodity, that is known as total expenditure. The total expenditure formula is given as P into Q, that is price into quantity. Now, how do we measure elasticity of demand with the help of this method? When there's a change in price of the good, we see what is the change in total expenditure. And this gives us elasticity of demand. So first we see the first situation, which is elastic demand. So suppose initially the price is 6 and the quantity is 10. Then the price falls to 5. The quantity increases to 13. Now let us find total expenditure. So 6 into 10 gives us 60. And when the price falls to 5, total expenditure increases to 65. That is 5 into 13 gives us 65. So in case of elastic demand, the elasticity is greater than 1. And when the price falls, total expenditure rises. And when the price rises, total expenditure falls. Suppose here the price falls from 6 to 5, total expenditure rises from 60 to 65. And when the price rises from 5 to 6, total expenditure falls from 65 to 60. That is if we say in other way. Now let us see diagrammatically. Suppose initially the price falls. Suppose initially the price is OP1, the price falls to OP. So what is the total expenditure? The total expenditure will be given by the rectangle OBTP1. Initially, total expenditure is given by this rectangle. By this rectangle, because Q is measured on the horizontal axis and P on the vertical axis. So total expenditure is QOB multiplied with OP1, which gives us the rectangle OBT will be here. T will be here, OBTP1. Now initially, then the price falls to OP. Then the new rectangle is OCRP, which is a bigger rectangle. So total expenditure has increased because the rectangle is bigger. So we can see when the price falls, total expenditure rises. Now if we see in other way, suppose the price rises from OP. So the rectangle is OCRP. This is total expenditure. And when the price rises to OP1, the new rectangle is OBTTP1. So the total expenditure is decreased. That is this rectangle, the new rectangle is smaller. So when the price rises, total expenditure falls. That is price and total expenditure, they move in the inverse direction. Now we come to inelastic demand where elasticity is less than 1. So here when the price falls from 6 to 5, total expenditure decreases from 60 to 55. How do we find total expenditure? 6 into 10 gives us 60. 5 into 11 gives us 55. So when the price falls, total expenditure falls, and when the price rises, total expenditure rises. So let us see diagrammatically. Suppose initially the price is OP. So the total expenditure is OBTP, right? And when the price falls to OP1, the total expenditure, the new total expenditure is OCRP1. So this rectangle is smaller, OCRP1. So when the price falls, total expenditure falls. And when the price rises, suppose from OP1 to OP. So when the price is OP1, the total expenditure is OCRP1, smaller total expenditure. And when the price rises to OP, the new total expenditure is OBTP. So this rectangle is bigger. The total expenditure has rose when the price has increased from OP1 to OP, right? So elasticity is less than 1. Here the price and total expenditure, they move in the same direction. Now we come to unitary elastic. So when the price is 6, Q is 10, and total expenditure is 6 into 10 is 60. When the price falls to 5, the total expenditure is constant, that is 5 into 12 gives us 60. Here unitary elastic, the elasticity is 1. So when the price falls, total expenditure is 60, and when the price, it is same. And when the price rises, total expenditure is same. Now we see diagrammatically, Q is measured on the horizontal axis, price on the vertical axis. So we measure total expenditure as P into Q. So when the price is OP, total expenditure is OBTP, right? And when the price decreases to 5, or when the price decreases to OP1, it is OCRP1. So total expenditure is constant because the area of the rectangles are constant. OBTP is equal to OCRP1. So these rectangles are equal. The total expenditure remains constant. Now we see the relationship between elasticity of demand and total expenditure. Here you should make sure that you measure total expenditure on the horizontal axis. Now we are not measuring quantity on the horizontal axis. Usually children think now we will consider the area of the rectangle. No, here we are showing total expenditure on the horizontal axis. So you don't need to consider the area. Now let us see. So we measure price on the vertical axis. Now when the price falls from OP1 to OP2, that is from OP1 to OP2, what happens? The total expenditure rises from ON to OM. Initially, when the price is OP1, what is the total expenditure on the horizontal axis? ON. And when the price decreases to OP2, total expenditure increases to OM at this point, right? So within this points from A to B, at any point when the price decreases, total expenditure will rise. That is, price and total expenditure will move in inverse direction. When the price falls, total expenditure will rise. Or when the price rises from OP to OP1, total expenditure will fall. So elasticity is greater than 1. Now the points between B and C, elasticity is 1. Why? Because total expenditure remains constant at OM. So when the price falls from OP2 to OP3, what happens? Total expenditure remains constant at OM because we measure total expenditure on the horizontal axis. Now when the price falls from OP3 to OP4, elasticity is less than 1 between the points D and C or C and D. Suppose the price falls from OP3 to OP4, what happens? The total expenditure falls from OM to ON because when the price is OP3, total expenditure is OM. And when the price falls to OP4, the total expenditure is ON. So elasticity is less than 1. At any point between D and C, total elasticity is less than 1. So we have divided elasticity in three ranges: A, B, B, C, and C, D. At any point between A and B, elasticity is greater than 1. B and C elasticity is 1, and C and D elasticity is less than 1. So this gives us a relationship between elasticity of demand and total expenditure. Now we come to point method, which is also known as geometric method. So point method, this point itself says that elasticity will be measured at a particular point on the demand curve, right? So elasticity is given by line segment below the point on the demand curve. We take a point on the demand curve. So the line segment, whatever is there below the point on the demand curve, divided by line segment above the point on the demand curve. So let us see. So here we measure price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal axis. Here we have the demand curve. Let us consider this to be the midpoint. Here we have P. Now this is the elasticity is 1. Why? Let us see why. Suppose we consider this point. So line segment below the point on the demand curve, Pn divided by Mp, right? Below the point is Pn and above the point is Mp. So Pn is equals to Mp, we know, because P is the midpoint. So Pn divided by Mp is equals to 1, because Pn by Mp is 1, because instead of Pn we can write Mp. So it will get cancelled out and we will get 1. So at this point, elasticity is 1, because we measure elasticity in this way: line segment below the point divided by line segment above the point, right? Now we come to this point. Suppose elasticity is greater than 1. Why? Let us see the formula. So line segment below the point. So AN divided by MA, because line segment below the point is AN and above the point is MA. So AN is a bigger segment, the lower segment is bigger. So AN by MA will give us a bigger number. So elasticity will be greater than 1. So elasticity will be greater than 1. Now we come to this point, suppose. Here below the point, what do we get? MN, the entire curve, entire line, MN. And above the point, what is the point? M. Now above the point, is there any other thing? Any other line segment? No. So Mn by 0 gives us infinity. So at this point, that is on the line, on the vertical axis, on the y-axis, elasticity is infinity. Now this one is left. Now here, suppose at point N, line segment below the point is what? Nothing is there. So it's 0 by Mn. Above the point is the entire line segment Mn. So 0 by Mn is 0. So elasticity at this point, that is the point on the x-axis, elasticity is 0. Now we come to point B. Elasticity is less than 1. Why? Line segment below the point is Bn divided by above the point is Mb. Now Bn is a smaller segment, so elasticity will be definitely less than 1. So at this point, at the midpoint, elasticity is 1. Then at between P and N, elasticity is less than 1. And any point on the x-axis, it is elasticity is 0. And between M and P, elasticity is greater than 1. And at point M, elasticity is infinity. So this is how we can measure elasticity with the help of point method. That is, we take a point and then we apply this formula and then we find out the elasticity, whether it is equals to 1, greater than 1, or less than 1, or 0, or infinity, right? Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, do subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon, because soon I will be uploading more videos. Stay tuned. Bye bye. Have a great time.